Whenever you're ready.
Alright, what's up everybody? I'm Jack Schultz, along with my boys.
My name is Arthur Kialanki.
I'm Will Slott.
I'm Dylan Keenan.
And we are Pledgebear. Pledgebear is a sock company that makes uniquely designed everyday socks. And when you purchase a pair, we donate a pair to urban homeless shelters in need. This is Todd. Todd is a homeless man who has all of his clothes donated to him by homeless shelters. But he doesn't receive socks on the daily because they don't have enough socks for him. The Public Library of Science had performed a study on homeless shelters that said socks are the least donated yet most needed apparel item for socks in homeless shelters. After discovering this issue, we saw that there's a company that's trying to help this cause. This company is called Bombas. Bombas was created in 2013, and they've shown us that there is a want to help this cause. They've donated over 15 million pairs of socks, and they've shown us that, and they have this one-for-one system where when they purchase a pair, they donate a pair to homeless shelters. This other company is called Stance. They focus mainly on designs and aesthetics for socks. They were created in 2009, and they have made an estimated $180 million in sales over the past 3 years. After seeing these two companies explode in popularity, we decided to put the best two parts of these companies together. We are going to use the charitable aspect from Bombas and the aesthetics from Stance and put it into one. This is what our sock could potentially be looking like in the future. We want our sock to be seamless at the toe and have soft cotton for comfort. The sock that we'll be donating will be a white, plain white sock that will be warm and will help solve the issue for the homeless need for socks. Purchasing Pledgebear socks will help give back to the community and help people like Todd live better and stay warm.
So our first target market are 12 to 17-year-old boys who have a family income of over 100K. So we think this will be ideal because our socks are good quality, which already sets the price point to be high. But when you add in the donation effect, this sets the price point even higher. So we think this, so according to some results from Statista, these would be the ideal conditions for a customer to buy a sock. Our second target market is homeless shelters in urban cities. We think urban cities would be ideal for a situation because urban cities tend to have a much higher population of homeless people, and also homeless shelters in urban cities tend to have can also reach much more people, so we could broadcast our message much more easily. Our biggest direct competitor is Bombas. As Jack mentioned, they're highly successful with their one-to-one charitable aspect of their company. But Bombas is not the only company who does this. There are hundreds and hundreds of other companies who do a very similar thing, where they sell socks, and also have a charitable aspect as well. These 2 of the 100 are Miss Scoots and Conscious Steps. Our biggest indirect competitor is Stance. Their biggest thing are their aesthetics and designs. But when you search on Google, there are like hundreds of other companies who do a very similar thing, just like our direct competitors. And just three of the biggest ones in our field are Strideline, Happy Socks, and Zumiez.
So now I'm going to talk about our marketing plan. Our marketing plan is based around Instagram. So our goal is to create a natural feed and try to keep people interested in our product. But also, we're going to have Instagram paid ads. This will cost us $300, and our goal with this is to have people in our target market see our Instagram ads, and it's supposed to reach over 150,000 people in our target market. And we're doing this because we feel like this would be the best way to reach the people within our target market in a cost-effective way. We're also planning on advertising in the high school newspaper, The Roundup. We can do this for free because we know people who write in The Roundup, and we believe that they'll help us out with this. And we believe that will be helpful with us marketing our product. And we have one channel, which is our Wix website. And we're doing this because it's super easy for us to track our currency, and it's going to make it easier for us to manage and understand our currency, which is pre-orders.
So according to Statista, the total sock market is just over $7 billion, and our service addressable market potential is just over 57 million. So the number of customers that goes into this number, we found based on the number of 12 to 17-year-old boys who live in the U.S. That live in a family of over $100,000 in income. We also factored in that 17% of footwear sales are online, and then we multiplied it by $15, which is our price, which I'll get into later, and frequency of purchase of 6 pairs a year, which is based on our customer interviews. What goes into the cost of each purchase is 2 pairs of socks, one for the customer, one for the donation, sublimation ink and sublimation paper. So how we want to make our socks is sublimation print ink designs and then transfer those ink designs onto the sock, so that's what the ink and paper would be for. The cost of each sock is around $3. This is based on estimates from 3 different manufacturers. We're hoping to solidify this number as we contact more and more manufacturers. And the ink and the paper itself is not very expensive when you divide it up per unit. We're going to use both cost plus and value-based pricing. We have to use cost plus because some socks require more ink than others. So it's important that we charge more for socks that have more ink, so we make a consistent profit. Along with value-based, so based on our competitors' stance in Bombas, along with customer interviews, it's evident that people are willing to pay $15 to $20, not only for a uniquely designed sock, but also one with a charitable aspect to it. And so this is how we came up with our price of $15. So year one, we're looking at about 1,500 customers, and this is based on a 1.5% conversion rate of the number of people that we reach, our target market we reach on Instagram. Our conversion rate comes from a 15% follow back rate on our Instagram currently, so we think 10% of them will eventually become customers of ours. Once we launch our Instagram ads, we're looking to further solidify this conversion rate. Once you multiply it by the frequency of purchase, you get the units sold, and then subtracting your cost, we're looking at a first year revenue of $82.5 thousand.
Alright, so for our MVP, we want to be testing 3 things. First thing we want to test is whether or not people will pay more for the charitable aspects. Second thing we want to test is whether or not people like our designs. And the third thing we want to test is our marketing strategies. And we're going to be doing that all through our landing page on Wix. So like I said, the first thing we want to do is test whether or not people are going to pay more for the charitable aspect. And the way we're going to do that is by taking, for example, a Stan sock or one of our competitor stocks, upping the price by $3 so that we can donate a pair and then seeing if people will purchase the sock. Now we believe this is going to give us the perfect way to determine this because we're going to be getting quantitative key metrics from this, as obviously the amount of people that purchase the stocks. And the next thing we want to do is test the designs. Now obviously if people are buying the socks, that would mean that they like the designs. We also do have some designs that we have made ourselves, and this would go under our pre-order section. We're really looking for feedback here because we really want to know if people like the designs that we're making, because we already know that the designs that our competitors are making are good. And then the third thing that we want to test is our marketing strategies. Now Dylan already touched on that a little bit, but we want to reach around 150,000 people in the 3 months that we're going to be running our test for. And we would like to look at the numbers that Instagram gives us to see if we want to make this our full-time marketing plan, because we think it's really the right option. So our goal for this is to sell 15 socks. Now, while this might be a low number, we think it's definitely reasonable because the way that the MVP would work is that the money would just keep cycling through because we aren't losing money on any of the sock sales through the model where we buy our competitors and sell it, and we can just keep on going to try and sell them. Now, our timeline for this is we would like to start February 18th, which is a Monday, and then end on May 1st, which would be Fish Night. And so what we're looking for is $100 for socks. Now that breaks down to $20 for white socks, which would give us 15 pairs of white socks that we could donate, and then $80 to start so that we can buy the competitor socks, because we need that. And then $300 for the advertisement, which would once again run 3 months on Instagram and get a minimum of 150,000 views. Then we want $23 for Wix so that we can upgrade to the business model where they take no commission and we can get our own domain, which would total to $423. So here at PledgePair, we're trying to make a difference. So if you want to buy PledgePair, please do, because it's the stock that makes a difference. Thank you for listening.
The, you know, I love the idea that you're, even though Bombas is doing this, you're gonna try to do it differently and a little bit better. I'm having a hard time kind of connecting what's different from the Bombas model here, and perhaps in the MVP, you can donate something other than another sock. Like the sock for sock thing is kind of catchy, but done. Like, what if you said, hey, buy a pair of socks and we'll donate a pair of shoes? Like, you up the game and you find a very inexpensive shoe that is, you know, or a, you know, something different that might motivate a 12 to 17-year-old. And I do think your target market is broader than 12 to 17. I think this goes up into the, you know, probably under 30 crowd. Although George Bush Sr., the former president, just passed away, put designer socks on the map. You know, he was the guy that, it's too early for you guys, but in the 80s he was wearing cool socks, you know. But I'd like you to test maybe a different donation, and you maybe can't do that in the MVP, but maybe you can do some more solution interviews. I mean, just in the group here, would you buy a pair of socks if you were knowing you were giving a donation to somebody that needed socks? Would that motivate you to buy a pair or not? Does it just influence your buying behavior?
I think it's the design of the socks.
It's about the sock?
It's about the design of the sock.
Yeah. And oh well, somebody gets something out of it, but I love the charitable act, but I think it's overdone, and you can, not overdone, it's already done, and try to change it just a little bit. But that's just one person's opinion.
Can I riff on that? Can I build on what Michael just suggested? Because clearly there are more homeless than there are available socks, right? So I get that. More people getting at this issue would help. What about if you were able to rally or harness the power of loyalties? So whether it's churches or clubs, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, where their design is something that reinforces their loyalty for whatever the source of the club is, like if it's Barrington Broncos. But because they've got the cool Broncos, whatever logo on there, and as a group, you guys are all working to combat homelessness issues in the northwest suburbs or in X neighborhood of Chicago, then there's purpose or intention. I'm just looking for a rallying point so that it gives more distinction than bonus, than what you suggested already exists. But yet, clearly there's still a need for more donated items. So I'm just, I guess what I'm...
You mentioned Boy Scouts, for example. That could be a fundraiser for Boy Scouts. You could pair with that. You could do a Boy Scout sock that donates money back to the Boy Scouts, and it could be you could almost have a sales force from that.
Or to the community, or allows them
That's
to
interesting.
community service because they're giving to.
And Girl Scouts is done pretty well with the Girl Scout
Yeah,
cookie.
it's the same kind of thing. I mean, it's saying you tie that in, and now you've got a brand that's
Right.
being pushed by a bunch of salespeople that you're not paying for.
Right.
And you guys are all in a team sport probably, or done some activity where you had to sell candy bars or
Yeah.
pizza or something. What if you do the exact same model, but you're selling socks, and it's helping the lacrosse team, or it's helping the swim team, or, and a percent of the money goes to the club, and your target market is selling it. You know, you all of a sudden you have a sales force of, you know, 30 lacrosse players selling this.
Which I would rather buy than cookie dough, which is totally.
And they can create their own style. Each club can have their own
Right.
Yep.
submission, so to speak.
I think the point is that you need to get back together and think about what is that differentiating factor that makes you different from Bombas.
How do
you take that and
more
create,
that,
how do you
that.
morph that into your own signature thing?
Yeah, I think personally, we all believe the charitable aspect is not the differentiation, obviously, but it's the designs. Because we perform interviews with kids in our grade, and we found that they don't buy Bombas because the designs are awful. It's
Okay,
if
so
you have-
then
They're comfortable.
ante that up.
they're comfortable, but when we wear our socks, most of the time if we're not wearing pants, you can see them because we don't really wear ankle socks. Our target market does not wear ankle socks. They wear socks that you can see.
Right.
So
So give them
if-
another reason, in other words, unless you guys are all the next Andy Warhol, I doubt that the design is gonna come from this group. And I'm not saying
Although
you're not
those blue
talented.
ones were very cool. Did you guys design those?
The blue one that looks kind of like a snowflake? kinda?
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the other brands.
Yeah.
Oh, that's your competitor?
That was-
Oh, you're the top, okay.
So, what I'm
Sorry,
just saying
Marguerite.
is, give another intention or reason.
So we're actually thinking about asking like art students or students in school for maybe submit their own designs and in case it allow, in case it works and we print it and we could give them like a commission or something and that would encourage more people to buy, so.
It's another option.
Yeah, that design was made by someone who we interviewed them and they showed interest in the company and they asked, it's his favorite like athlete, but he made it for us and he said he,
Yeah,
He'd be
his
willing to
favorite
be-
athlete may take issue with that, but.
well, I mean, I guess, but.
The first one you had on there, which was the flag of Chicago, I believe,
Yeah, that was
that
cool.
was really good.
That was
I
good.
could see that going,
Right.
Yeah,
for sure. It's cool looking.
and maybe you can grab the flag of any city or,
Yeah.
yeah, but we're trying to get you back to an MVP. All right, not a, we're not trying to like change your whole business model here,
Right.
so. Maybe I just need can you just in 30 seconds repeat what the MVP, what are you doing in the MVP?
Okay, so.
You're testing 3 things, I know.
Yeah, so what we want to do is we want to take one of our competitor stocks up the price point by $3 and then attempt to sell it to see if people want to pay extra for the donation fee.
And you're gonna market, we give the sock away.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then we're going to add some designs that we have made and see if we can get any pre-orders on that. But that is not part of the main.
Yeah.
That's just-
could you add an MVP, maybe in that MVP, a week or 2 of we give a sock away, do that for a week. The next week, we donate money to your club. We donate $5 of the sock or $3 of the price goes to the club of your choice. Do that for a week. Others might donate a pair of socks. When you buy a pair of socks, we donate a pair of shoes. And then you can figure out how to solve for that later, But, if you have to go figure out how to buy $3 pairs of shoes, which might be impossible. But at least you'll know, did that provocative differentiation mean anything? So you can test these different charitable givebacks and maybe have some analytics around those. You don't have to, you're starting on the 18th of February and going all the way to May 1st. You don't have to test the exact same thing every single week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're thinking of like.
Now you have to get 100, you have to get a lot of hits, so, I'm sorry,
Yeah, we're thinking like testing different designs so that we could narrow a good design would be. For example, if people start liking floral patterns, and we'll start trying to make our own floral patterns and see if they like those.
Okay. If you do the change the charity and that's the only thing you're changing, don't change the design because you won't know what's causing the change in behavior. You change 2 things and you can't correlate it to the one. Just change one thing, everything else is equal, and then you know that the conversion rate is associated with the one thing you change, not the 2 things you change. What else? What
What about a
else?
number?
We need. Let's go back to the.
It's 423.
423.
Yeah, and you're literally selling this, so there's a very good chance that you'll pay it. How many pairs of socks are you selling?
Oh, we want to sell around 15, if that's a fair.
And 15 at $15 is how much?
200.
And so, but you could actually sell. How much inventory will you have under that 423?
We'll have 5 pairs of the competitor socks and then 15 of the donated socks. But we can, if we sell those 5 socks, we can just keep reusing that same money.
I'm just curious, why do you need to test the model of will people be willing to buy a pair of socks or donate a pair of socks? Hasn't that already been validated? by
So we want to take the aesthetic part of Stance, one of our competitors, and see specifically if those socks can be sold for more once a charitable
Gotcha.
aspect is
Okay, I
added
understand.
onto it.
All right.
So you don't really have to buy their socks, do you? ahead of time? Could you just, when somebody buys them, can you order them?
Yeah,
So you collect the $18 from somebody,
And then-
yeah.
then you go buy, with their $18, you buy the $15 and the $3. So that would be, I would rather you take the inventory of the $45 that you're using for your competitor socks and convert it into ordering more of your 15. We'll give you the same amount of money,
Yeah.
but order more of the, your socks, so when you sell them, you have a better chance of paying us back too. See, we're very selfish this way.
So 423,
Yeah, let's make it 425,
425?
you know.
Spend the $2 wisely. All right, good job. Thank you, guys.